first week of shooting the documentary, we got into a car chase with one of the cartel guys. When the cartel guys ended up chasing us because we found his grow. So then he hopped in a car with another armed guy and then chased me, Sagnik. And at that time, we were with a resident. A resident showed us, and the only thing that saved us, man, during this.
But yo, what is this story with you and Sagnik? You just dropped this on me before we got on camera. You guys almost got killed by Mexican cartels in the middle of some Chinese wheat field.
Yeah, me and Sagnik Basu were working. This was our very first documentary. We were doing the introduction into the illegal marijuana operations in Southern California in the deserts, and we ran into an instance where we were about to go check out some illegal marijuana grows in a very sketchy area up in LA County, almost bordering like San Bernardino County. And then we got stopped by two Mexican cartel growers in this like F-150. Both guys were armed. The guy in the passenger seat was like ready to go. And what Sagnik tells me now is that he basically just thought about his mom because he thought he was gonna get blasted. And so that was his last thought. But yeah, man, we've been in some close calls. It's been kind of a wild roller coaster, man, and it really kind of kicked off. I think really with all of us, right? 2020, and now we're here heading into election in like less than 4 months. So it's been a wild journey.
Well, shout out to Sagnik for putting this together. He's the man. I laugh because that dude. He's about all the action, bro. And then he finds himself in these wild situations. He's just a media guy from New York at this point.
He's like 5'2", bro. 5'2", $130.
All right, he's like 5'6". Let's give him a few inches. But the dude finds himself in the middle of the stuff. I respect that a lot. And he was down there making I think it was 2 docs.
Yeah,
you were working with him on, right?
Yeah. We did 2 documentaries. It was really into this kind of illegal marijuana issue. I'll kind of because it will be all over the place. But basically what happened, Julian, was back in 2021, the border became like a big story. So I started covering the border. At that time, I was with the Daily Caller. And we were, covering it for months, and it was getting hectic. And there was one day where I met, he was a congressman. His name is Mike Garcia. So he represents like a certain district in LA County. And we were in South Texas at this time. So for me, I was interested. I was like, hey, what is a politician or a congressman from Southern California, doing in McAllen, Texas? Because no matter what he sees here, it has nothing to do with his district. He can't do anything.
That's right.
So what he says, he's like, hey, Jorge, because of what's happening on the border, we have a huge cartel issue back in Palmdale, and he explained it. He said we have these Mexican cartels moving in migrants undocumented. They're starting up these what he was calling illegal marijuana operations, and he was saying that they're forcing these migrants, essentially almost like slavery, on U.S. soil to work on these marijuana grows. Brutal conditions, middle of nowhere. These folks can't escape. They have to basically pay off their debt to be in the U.S. So he broke it down. And it seemed like a movie, and I was like, first of all, I'm like, this is not true. Second of all, Palmdale was my hometown. I was living in D.C. at this time for Daily Call, but Palmdale was my hometown. So I was like, I'm from there. I'm from the 661. I literally grew up there. So what the congressman did, he said, look, man, hear me out. He's like, in a month, they're going to have a town hall in Acton, California. So it's a little bit before you get to Palmdale. He's like, head to the town hall and then give me a call after. I said, okay. So I go to this town hall. And it was with LA County Sheriff. So yeah, like the sheriff's there, and there was a bunch of residents from that area, like Acton, Lancaster, Palmdale. And so we're all crowded up in this like little building. And then I just keep hearing story after story from farmers saying, hey, I went to go, down the road to go like grab, some water, pick it up, and we got stopped by Mexican cartel guys, and now they control the water lines. Or like, hey, last week, we were hearing noises like my animals were barking or whatever was going on. And I went out there, and these like Honduran kids are like tapped into my water lines and stealing water. Or like I've been shot at, or like these Mexican guys come. It was all this like story after story. And I was like, this can't be real. Like this is happening on U.S. soil. Mm-hmm. We have cartel activity. Then basically the sheriff was telling these people like, hey, because of where you guys live, you have to be armed, because if you call us, it's going to take us 2.5, 3 hours to get to you. And I just couldn't believe it, and all these people so far have declined to meet with media. Like they wouldn't meet with any media.
Really?
Yeah. So I just couldn't believe it. So I was kind of taken aback. So the first thing I did is I'm like, let me see what local media did on these stories. So I looked at local media, and you would just always see like a reporter in a helicopter in LA County, and they'll be like, hey, that's a marijuana grow, dangerous, like don't go. And that's like the gist of the story. And there's no way we could get much deeper. So what I did is I approached each resident and I connected with them on a human level. And I said, hey, look, my name is Jorge Ventura. I'm a reporter for the Daily Caller. I'm like, I grew up here. Like, this is my home. Like, I'm a hometown kid. I went to high school here. I went to community college here. Like, this is my backyard too. So like, I care about this. So I think when people saw that, they started giving us the access. So then when I gained the residents' trust to tell us the stories, that's when I called our editor-in-chief back at Daily Caller, and I said, hey, man, we got a big story right here that if I could break this for us. I'm like, and at that time, Daily Caller they've never produced a documentary, never investigated a documentary. Small digital media company, right? They don't have the funds for it. And I said, look, all I don't even need money. I'm like, you just send me Sagnik. Give me like 2 months. I could produce a documentary. Just me and him. We don't need money. We don't even need crazy equipment. We don't need drone. Like
you got some videographers, obviously. Like you had some people doing it with you.
Just him. And then the only other guy, and this will be something we'll talk about later, because you'll find this guy's story interesting. And another guy was a freelancer. His name is Eric, that I met at the border. I hired him to be our drone guy, which is just basically my own buddy, just to shoot him some bucks. And just us three, man, we started literally putting together one of the more dangerous documentaries on illegal marijuanas that haven't been touched in LA County. We were the first ones to do it. Not only we were the first ones to do it, we were the first ones to go with the residents, embedded with the residents, get the craziest stories about them being shot at, crazy stuff, the stuff you would only find in movies. So we got all these crazy stories. We got law enforcement side, local officials. But to put the kind of cherry on top, I'm like, the way that we could beat everyone, and then I did this with my guy Eric, is we would do two things, bro. In the middle of the day, we would drive my little Honda Civic in the middle of the desert to the marijuana grows. They're protected by armed cartel growers. And then we would find a spot, and then we put a drone over it. And then, boom, we started putting drones over the grows. And we started to put them, boom, really low. So we started to learn the builds. Where would they put the gunmen?
Right.
Like, how big did they grow? And then, so I call them day missions. So we kept Sagnik at the house and only be me and Eric. Because
Where is this in the middle of the desert? Like, where approximately?
We're talking about LA County, Palmdale, California, Antelope Valley. So, and this is where I grew up. Like, I literally grew up here. So what we would do, bro, is me and Eric would hop in my little Honda, find like a little desert spot where we could kind of be hidden. Throw the drone up, and then boom, just started like, and then we would just be amazed, bro. We're looking at this drone like, how are these operations like we're talking about massive. I'm talking about multiple acres, greenhouses, water lines, guys transporting supplies, gunmen looking out, all happening in in LA County, and we kept throwing them up. So we started doing our day missions, and then there was one where Sagnik came up, so it was us three. And we found a massive one. It was like on the border of LA County with San Bernardino. And then it was so massive. I make a joke about it when we did our media run. This operation was so massive, you thought Jeff Bezos and like Amazon were running it. We're talking about, it was over 13 greenhouses. And I mean, multiple acres.
Oh, they had greenhouses.
Yeah, huge. I mean, these are humongous. So I think they were close to like 20 massive acres. So when we showed LA County sheriffs, they said, you guys stumbled on multi-million-dollar operations. So the thing,
no shit, Sherlock.
So we threw up the drone. Obviously, we're doing our normal, shtick, throw up the drone, and then we're finally flying it back. And then as we're flying it back, we get in the Honda, and we're driving, and then we look into the distance, and I think it was Eric or Sonic. One of them goes, "Hey, like, why is that plane super low?" And because it was far away, and I'm like, that's not a plane. And then we saw it go low, and we're like, oh.
Guys, if you're not following me on Instagram, you can get me at Julian Dorey Podcast, or also on my personal page at Julian D. Dorey. Those links are in the description below. You can also follow me on X at Julian D. Dorey. That link is in the description below. And as always, please smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit that like button on the video. It is a huge, huge help. I appreciate all of you who have been subbing and all of you who are liking all these videos. Thank you.
The cartel guys then threw a drone and followed me, and then they basically took down my license plate. And I mean, we've been in several of those instances, man. But it kind of happened.
They got your info.
They ended up getting my info. We are on our first week of shooting the documentary. We got into a car chase with one of the cartel guys. When the cartel guys ended up chasing us because we found his grow. So then he hopped in a car with another armed guy and then chased me, Sagnik. And at that time we were with a resident. A resident showed us, and the only thing that saved us, man, during this, we were like in it's called like Lake LA, literally middle of nowhere in the deserts. If you're from SoCal, you know what I'm talking about. But we were getting in a car chase in the desert, and the only thing that saved us from literally being killed is when we found the road, and thank God they do this, but in the middle of the deserts out there, bros, all the media companies shoot commercials. So when we stumbled on the road where they were shooting a commercial. So when they're shooting a commercial in the desert, they put cops in the end. So the resident beelines it to the cop and basically does a U and was like, hey man, can we just be here for 2 minutes? We're getting chased by a grower. We'll explain later. So the cop's like, chill out. And then the grower just drives by. And then in the documentary, Sagnik does a good job of when the grower drives by, he puts it in slow-mo so you could see the guy like armed. You know, he was after us. And basically,
are you afraid that guy's going to come back?
Oh yeah, I mean, but we were so passionate. I mean, we were
No,
hungry
I
about
mean
this.
now. They got your info.
Oh yeah, I mean now it's scary because now anything could happen. You know, obviously, then I don't post like my family and stuff, but I mean, basically, man, with literally no money, with no help, with no security team. You know, if Amazon did a documentary like this, man, they got a security team, they got helicopters, they got like 5 drone guys. You know, we didn't have that, man. So it's just with hunger, us 3, bro. We put a story together, and we were the first ones to break. Mexican and Chinese grows in San Bernardino in LA County operating illegal marijuana grows and stealing water, bro. That's if you don't live in California, you guys don't know, but water is gold to us in the Golden State. So they're pumping water. We have human sexual murders all connected to marijuana.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.